You know, sometimes when I buy a computer, I worry that my money might be helping a company with unethical business practices. But at least Microsoft never tried to build an earthquake machine.
Well, it's that time again. Time again to help the disenfranchised and easily led find a community group with which they can maximize their potential and fulfill their need to be psychologically manipulated. Yes, it's time again to look at cults, and we're going to be looking at one from Japan that goes by the name of ALF. ALF's heyday took place between 1989 and 1995, and under a different name, Aum Shinrikyo. It's under this name and during this period that we're going to break down their various attributes using the patented in a handful of minutes cult review system. And we're going to start with their leader, Shoko Asahara, who was a real cult classic. Yes, Shoko Asahara had many of the most common traits of a leader of the easily led. For example, he banned lovemaking within the group, but then of course recruited numerous young female lovers from within the group. He also believed himself to be the reincarnation of a great historical figure, Tutankhamun, and he greatly admired Hitler. Plus, he believed that he could read other people's auras, like reading their minds, and his religious beliefs were a hodgepodge of geomancy, fortune-telling cards, and at least 2 major religions. Oh, and of course, he had a knack for convincing people of the most outrageous bullshit in town. He also cut his salesmanship teeth by selling a patent medicine made from peels and alcohol. Though he was eventually caught and fined, the fine was less than half of 1% of the total money he earned, and this money in turn was used to provide the seed for a small fortune which would then be used to purchase a chemical manufacturing plant run exclusively by Aum. It was this chemical plant, along with the group's large fortune and eventually an arms factory of their very own, which upgrades Aum from just some bunch of idiots who hand out pamphlets at the airport and irritate you, to somebody that G.I. Joe would be called in to deal with. On top of this, they managed to get recognized as a tax-exempt corporation that owned and ran a large chain of retail stores with computer parts that was operated by brainwashed, unpaid cult members. Those of you with retail jobs may resent them from time to time, and hey, fair enough, but at least you get paid, you don't have to never have sex, you are allowed to see your family members and friends, you're not kept in a drug-induced stupor to make you more suggestible, and most of all, you don't have to wear a cap that electrocutes you periodically. Oh yes, in order to synchronize their auras with those of their leader in a process called PSI, or Personal Salvation Initiation, all the members of the cult had to wear such caps. But that isn't to say that Aum were just a bunch of mindless, periodically zapped idiots. One thing that really set them apart from most cults actually was the fact that they managed to attract a lot of highly educated and capable individuals. These included a cardiovascular surgeon, an electronics engineer, physics graduates, a brilliant astrophysicist and computer programmer, who designed those lovely caps, as well as several other scientists, members of the Japanese Defense Force, and even a Yakuza boss who helped them infiltrate the police and the judiciary. All this, added together with the group's apocalyptic belief system, made their determined pursuit of doomsday weaponry just that bit more worrisome. Yes, Asahara had his followers convinced that bringing about the end of the world would be a good thing because, of course, only they would be saved. With this in mind, Aum tried to purchase nuclear weapons from Russia, procure samples of the Ebola virus from Zaire, mine uranium in Australia, and build a copy of an earthquake machine they thought the Americans had developed. None of these schemes succeeded, but they did manage to build a working prototype of an electromagnetic railgun, something the United States had built for use in its Star Wars program. There was also a truck-mounted laser, which fortunately broke down before it could do any harm. The only doomsday device to ever actually even partially work was, of course, the sarin gas attack that they perpetrated on the 20th of March, 1995 within the Tokyo subway system. Fortunately, even this fell dramatically short of their goal to kill thousands, but nonetheless it did plenty enough harm to earn them everything they got afterwards. The organization was all but outlawed, as everybody who was involved with perpetrating the act, including their leader, was put on death row, and their assets were seized, and their status as a religion was revoked. Nowadays, Aum has rebranded itself as ALF, shrunk to a membership of only 2,100 individuals, and done everything they can to distance themselves from their recent past. They still run some retail stores, which are routinely boycotted, searched by police, and harassed by locals depending on the location. Yes, they're a shadow of their former selves, and their shadow grows shorter with each passing day. As a cult, Aum was easily one of the most successful and terrifying, coming in just above David Koresh's Branch Davidians. However, of course, as human beings, they come in just below a warthog's pap smear.
Now, Oliver, that's not entirely fair to my pet warthog, who is also named Oliver. Her pap is so pure that I go hog wild on my toast with a bit of Marmite, and of course her pap.
He forbade sex within his group while keeping numerous young female wives that he can't... Female wives? Oh, fuck off. You could just... God. Are you still rolling?